Hey, Shalom, Shalom. I want to start first always by giving all praise to Yahweh, by Hashem, Shai, by Hashem, Qudash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS and honors to you brothers doing the work in truth, what sincerity. This is just a quick one on, on the fact that, and it's a topic that's been covered, a million times, right? But it's the fact that America is going to be destroyed. Right, and even her allies are going to be shooting against her. Her allies are just going to, they're going to, send them ICBMs because right now, right, you're having you're having tensions between the two nations. I mean, between America and her allies in terms of the tariffs that she's put on them. Through our man DJ Trump. Right, this is Jeremiah 50:14. It says, "Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow." Right, and when you actually go into the scriptures, right, that bow isn't talking about a literal, bow and arrow. Right, that's figurative, right, for these ICBM nuclear missiles, right. So it says, "Shoot at her, spare no arrows," right, for she hath sinned against Yahweh. Right, so we may have the end of America signed up in the air, and people will be like, "Why does America have to be destroyed?" Oh, that's why, because she has sinned against Yahweh. Right, in there, what you call it, the blood of the children of Israel was shed in that land. What does the scriptures say? Right, it says Numbers 35:33 says, "So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are. Right, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, right, but by the blood of him that shed it." Right, and the blood of the Native Americans was shed in that land, to genocidal levels. Right, the blood of the so-called Negro, that it was shed in that land. Right, once again to genocidal levels. Right, let me get this real quick. Right, so Jeremiah 50:33 says, "Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together." Right, children of Israel representing the northern kingdom, right, the children of Judah representing the southern kingdom, right, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, right. It says were oppressed together, and that that's talking about that land of America. Right, that's where those two nations were, those two kingdoms that form all in all the kingdom of Israel, right, the children of Israel, right, they were pressed together in that land, right, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go, right, and you've seen that, man. They've the way they hide information from Jake, the way they keep Jake oppressed, right, they want to keep Jake in that position. Right, they're pushing, this whole black consciousness thing so that Jake can stay in that dumb state, right? But yeah, you see, that's why America has to be destroyed, right? Because she's sinned against the Lord, and that blood, that land is bloody, right? Read Jeremiah 50:29 says, "Call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the bow. Camp against it round about, let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work," right? According to all that she hath done, do unto her. Right, so basically that's saying revenge. Right, what she's done, do unto her. So now I need to get this. Revelation 18:6. Right, it says, "Reward her even as she had rewarded you, and double unto a double." And that's not a literal double, right? It's a figurative double, right? So basically, for all the wickedness that these devils have done unto the children of Israel, right, which is really all of these heathen nations, right? Every single one of them, because they all came together, right? They've all consulted together with one consent to destroy Israel. Right, it says Psalms 83 from verse 2 says, "For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, right, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden one." Right, so Israel has enemies, right, and they've basically gone together and they've said, how can we destroy these people? Right, verse 4 says, "They have said, Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance." Right, so that's why, like I said, they push that whole, you're African, you're this, you're that, right, so that we forget who we are, so that Israel as a whole forget that we're the children of Israel. Right, this is Jeremiah 17:4. Right, so, and now even thyself shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. Right, it says, and I will call, and that's happened. Right, Israel don't know who we are. Will be everything apart from an Israelite. Right, it says, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger which shall burn forever. So Israel's in this predicament, right, because we went off. Right, and that means I must now needs get this. Right, so Israel went through that because we went off, right? But then read this, is Jeremiah 49:12. It says, for thus saith Yahweh, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken, and art thou he that should altogether go unpunished? So Israel drank, but that wasn't a lot. Yet, however, you think that you've done all this wickedness and you won't drink. So if Israel drunk, and Israel's the apple of the Lord's eye, what makes you think that you won't drink of that cup, which is that bondage, right? That hardcore bondage, that slavery, right? It says, thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it, right? So basically saying these heathen nations, man, all the ones that came together to do, to do what they did to the children of Israel, all of them, right, which is just gonna go into here, right? You go and drink, but primarily you so-called white people, you Edomites, man, right? It says they have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance, for they have consulted together with one consent, right? They are confederate against thee, right? And once again, the first nation that's mentioned, right, is the tabernacles of Edom, right? These so-called white people and the Ishmaelites, right, of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines, and with the inhabitants of Tyre, right? So hey, Israel has enemies, so they're gonna have to get their reward, right? So reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works, and the cup which she had filled to a double, right? So when America's destroyed, right, it's only righteous, right? So I'll carry on in Jeremiah 15:29. It says, call together the archers against Babylon, right? Babylon meaning confusion, the land of confusion. Babel, meaning confusion, right? So the land of confusion. It says, all ye that bend the bow, right? So all of these nations that have that ICBM nuclear missile, right? It says, camp against it round about, let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work, right? According to all that she hath done, do unto her. For she hath been proud against the Lord, Yahweh, right, against the Holy One of Israel, right? So for all the wickedness that America's done, recompense it, throw it back at her, right, and destroy her because of it, right? And what you call it, for all the for all the slavery and all of that these Edomites and these heathens have done unto the children of Israel, right? We're gonna have to, we're gonna have to make them go through the same thing but worse, right? Let me get that. Let me just get this. This is Revelation 17:16. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, right, these shall hate the whore, right? So that's talking about America's America's allies, right? They're gonna hate her. They're gonna hate on her, man. Right? It says, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire, right? So I just wanted to get into that real quick. Spirit had it whereby I'd been reading into something about the ICBMs last night, and which caught when I went to sleep, man. I just watched basically had a dream about this nuclear destruction. You had an ICBM and like a missile, tracking it, trying to take it down, but it hit its target, right? Which is akin to what the scriptures say about how, when these nations, when these missiles go in, and are entered in to hit, they ain't gonna miss, right? Missile defense systems ain't gonna stop them. None of that. They're gonna hit their target. But yeah, Lord, we were edified. To the next time. Shalom.